Can you feel it? The energy has shifted. His silence is no longer resistance, it's collapse. His old patterns are breaking. His distractions are failing. His armor is falling apart. The universe has stripped him of what no longer belongs, and now he stands at the edge of transformation. But here's the truth. He cannot take the next step for you. He cannot cross the threshold alone. The masculine is done, but that does not mean the journey is finished. It means the universe is looking at you now, divine feminine. The next move is yours. The question is not, when will he do it? The question is, will you rise and claim it now? There comes a point in the twin flame journey where the divine masculine cannot hide anymore. No matter how hard he tries to silence his emotions, drown himself in distractions, or wear the armor of pride, the energy becomes too heavy to carry. That point is now. The masculine has reached his limit. For lifetimes, he has been conditioned to hold back, to avoid vulnerability, to control instead of surrender. And for a while, those defenses worked. He could keep running, keep pretending, keep numbing. But the universe never allows avoidance forever. The energy builds until the structures collapse, and suddenly the walls that once protected him turn into prisons. This collapse is not weakness. It is the design of awakening. Look closely at his energy now. The signs are everywhere. His silence no longer feels like power. It feels like exhaustion. The distractions that once kept him comfortable leave him restless. The relationships, the roles, the masks that once fit now feel unbearably tight. He tries to repeat the old patterns, but they don't give him relief anymore. He tries to run, but his feet feel heavy. He tries to numb, but nothing works. This is the mark of a soul that has reached its edge. The masculine is being stripped by the universe. Not punished, but purified. Every false layer is being burned away. The illusions of control, the identity built on avoidance, the pride that kept him distant. He may resist, he may fight, but resistance no longer delays the inevitable. The energy has decided, enough. This is why his dreams have become vivid, why his emotions come in waves he cannot explain, why his chest feels tight, or his body restless. The awakening is no longer optional. His limit has been reached. And the deeper truth is this: his soul is relieved. Because hiding was never freedom, it was bondage. And now the universe is cutting the chains. But here's what many misunderstand. Just because the masculine is done with the old does not mean he automatically steps into the new. Reaching his limit does not equal action. It equals collapse. It equals surrender. He has laid down the sword, but he has not yet taken the step forward. That step belongs to the feminine. The masculine has reached his limit because the field is shifting. The feminine has risen in frequency, and his old ways cannot survive in her light. The tether between them has amplified to the point where he can no longer avoid feeling it. Every move she makes in sovereignty echoes in his chest. Every time she chooses truth, his lies unravel faster. Every time she embodies, his illusions weaken. The feminine has created the conditions where he cannot go backward. So now he stands at the threshold, stripped, restless, undone. The old cycle is finished. He knows it in his body, even if his mind denies it. He knows he cannot repeat what has already collapsed. And that knowing shakes him, because it means change is no longer an option. It is a demand. The masculine is done. His limit has been reached, and in that moment, the universe turns its gaze to the feminine, because the journey does not end at his collapse. It begins at her decision. The twin flame journey moves in cycles. Recognition, separation as shadow, lessons, breakthroughs. These cycles repeat until both souls have absorbed what they came to learn. But there comes a point when the loop cannot continue. The energy has shifted so profoundly that the old patterns break for good. If you are paying attention, you will see the signs everywhere, signs that the old cycle is truly over. The first sign is exhaustion. The masculine no longer has the stamina to play the same games. What once gave him comfort now drains him. The excuses he repeated no longer convince even himself. He may still try to resist, but resistance now feels like carrying a boulder uphill with no end in sight. His soul is tired of repeating the loop, and the universe honors that fatigue by collapsing what no longer serves. The second sign is the collapse of distractions. The hobbies, addictions, workaholism, relationships, or escapes he used to numb himself suddenly lose their flavor. He can drink from the same cup, but it no longer satisfies. He can reach for the same mask, but it no longer fits. The things that once made him feel alive now feel empty. This emptiness is not punishment. It is space. Space for something real to enter. The third sign is the intensity of synchronicities. When the old cycle ends, the universe begins flooding the field with reminders that change is happening now. Numbers repeat endlessly. Songs play at the exact moment he thinks of the feminine. Symbols appear in dreams with startling clarity. The synchronicities do not allow him to forget. They keep pressing into his awareness until he admits the truth. The connection is alive, and avoidance is impossible. The fourth sign is emotional eruption. Anger without cause. Tears that appear suddenly. Longing that hits like a wave out of nowhere. These emotions rise because the walls that held them are crumbling. The old cycle depended on suppression. The new one demands release. What was hidden is coming to the surface because it cannot remain buried. His soul is done pretending. The fifth sign is the shift in the tether. The feminine feels it first. She notices his silence is different. She senses the static in the field, the heaviness in her chest, the vividness of shared dreams. She can tell that he is no longer resisting in the same way. His energy has softened, become raw, exposed. This is not imagination. It is resonance. She feels him because he is unraveling, and the tether transmits it all. The sixth sign is the breaking of karmic ties. Old partners, toxic dynamics, superficial bonds, they begin to dissolve. Sometimes it happens through dramatic endings. Other times it is simply a quiet drifting apart. Either way, the masculine cannot carry these connections anymore. They were anchors to the old cycle, and the universe is cutting the ropes. And finally, the seventh sign is the sense of no return. Deep down, he knows it. He may not admit it out loud, but he feels it in his bones. He cannot go back to who he was. The old version of himself has expired. The old cycle has no life left in it. The only way is forward. For the feminine, these signs are not reasons to wait in passivity, but confirmations to act in sovereignty. They prove the field is ready. They prove the masculine has finished what he needed to in the old cycle. And now the question is not if union can happen. The question is whether she will rise to meet the moment. The old cycle is over. The chapter has closed. The masculine is done. The signs are written across his energy, his body, his silence. And because of that, the universe now turns to the feminine with a single instruction: move. Why the next step belongs to the feminine. When the masculine reaches his limit, the cycle doesn't end in union automatically. Collapse is not the same as embodiment. The masculine can let go of the old, but he cannot create the new alone. This is the mystery of the twin flame dynamic. When one polarity breaks down, the other must rise. And at the final stage, the next step always belongs to the divine feminine. Why? Because she is the one designed to receive the signal first. Her body reacts to shifts before his mind can register them. Her spirit senses the magnetic pull before his heart admits the longing. She is the antenna, the frequency holder, the one who embodies light as a template. Without her movement, the field remains unstable. With it, the portal opens. The masculine has released what he can. His old patterns no longer work. His silence no longer protects him. His distractions no longer soothe him. But release does not equal union. It only creates space for it. That space must now be filled with the feminine's sovereignty, her truth, her decision to step forward. The universe will not allow her to wait on him anymore. Her rising is the key that activates his awakening. This is not chasing. Chasing is fear-based. The energy of, if I don't move, I'll lose him. Chasing leaks power outward and delays the process. The feminine's movement is different. It is an inner step first, embodying her mission, claiming her truth, anchoring her boundaries. It is walking into purpose so fully that the tether vibrates in a new frequency. And that frequency becomes the signal the masculine cannot ignore. Think of it this way. The masculine's collapse creates silence. The feminine's embodiment fills that silence with resonance. Her light stabilizes the field that his old patterns left fractured. When she moves, she does not drag him along. She rises into alignment. And in doing so, she exposes the gap between his stagnation and her evolution. That gap is what awakens him. It makes him restless. It makes his excuses ring hollow. It makes him ache to rise too. The universe requires this sequence. If the masculine tried to lead before she embodied, the union would collapse back into old dynamics, codependency, fear, projection. But when she steps into sovereignty first, she creates a foundation, solid enough for union to thrive. Her move is not about forcing him. It is about anchoring the truth that union can only be built on wholeness. The feminine must also understand her step is not about him. It is about her. It is about becoming the fullest expression of who she is, regardless of whether he has caught up. It is about living her mission now, speaking her truth now, embodying her light now, and in doing so, she naturally calls him into alignment, not by pulling, but by radiating. This is why the next step belongs to her. Because the universe cannot anchor union in a field where the feminine waits, doubts, or diminishes her power. It can only anchor it where she is standing in sovereignty. She does not need to chase him into awakening. She needs to awaken herself and let the tether do the rest. So if you have been asking, why hasn't he moved yet? The answer is simple, because the next step is yours. He has collapsed the old cycle. He is done with what no longer works. But union will not appear until you embody what you came here to carry. His limit created the opening. Your sovereignty is what will walk you both through it. The twin flame journey is written in divine timing, but divine timing is not passive. It is alignment. And once the masculine has reached his limit, once the old cycle is over, the universe shifts its gaze entirely to the feminine. The field is open, the energy is ripe, the tether is charged. But here lies the danger. If the feminine hesitates, if she clings to waiting, if she delays her embodiment, the portal can begin to close. This is not punishment. It is physics. Energy moves in waves, and waves must be ridden when they rise. The reunion frequency is not fragile, but it is alive. It requires momentum. When the masculine collapses his old patterns, the energy surges forward like a tide. If the feminine does not step into it, the wave crashes back and both are pulled into delay. Not because they are unworthy, but because the universe will not force what is not fully claimed. Waiting too long also feeds the old cycle. The feminine may believe that waiting is patience, but often it is disguised fear. She tells herself she's giving him time, but beneath the surface, she is still hoping he will do the work for her. This puts her right back into the role of passivity, into the vibration of, I cannot move until he does. And that vibration is the very frequency that kept the loop alive for lifetimes. The danger is not that union will never happen. The danger is that the lesson will repeat. The feminine will feel restless, drained, pulled into cycles of doubt and longing again, until she finally chooses to rise. The universe will continue presenting her with the same message. You are the key. Move first. Until she acts, the loop cannot break. Another danger of waiting too long is that it keeps the masculine trapped in limbo. Remember, he awakens by resonance. Her embodiment is what shakes him awake, what forces him to face his truth. If she delays, he feels the emptiness of collapse, but without the direction of her light. This prolongs his resistance, feeding confusion instead of clarity. It is not that she rescues him, it is that her vibration stabilizes the field enough for him to choose. Without it, the field remains unstable, and both feel the weight of delay. The feminine must also recognize that waiting too long is a betrayal of herself. Her soul is restless because it knows the mission is ready now. Her body aches, her dreams intensify, her synchronicities multiply, not because she must sit still, but because she must rise. If she ignores this, she begins to suffer. Anxiety, fatigue, stagnation creep in. The energy meant for her embodiment turns inward, creating frustration instead of expansion. The universe is not cruel. It gives her signs, pushes, synchronicities, waves of intuition, but the final choice is always hers. She must decide whether to trust the pull or to delay it. And delay always comes with a cost. The longer she waits, the heavier the energy becomes. This is why the danger of waiting is so real. It does not cancel union, but it delays the mission, the healing, the impact both are meant to have together. And every delay affects not only them, but the collective that waits for the light they carry. So, divine feminine, hear this clearly. The masculine has done his part. He has collapsed the old. The universe has cleared the field. The tether is alive. The next step belongs to you. If you wait too long, the cycle will try to repeat, not because you are being punished, but because you have not yet embodied the truth the universe demands. The portal is open now. The energy is alive now. The question is not, when will he move? The question is, will you claim this moment before it passes? At this stage of the twin flame journey, the question is no longer if union will happen. The masculine is done with his old cycles. The tether is alive, and the energy is pressing in from every side. The question is, will the feminine embody the action that anchors union? Because the truth is simple. Without embodiment, union cannot land. But what does embodiment mean? It does not mean chasing him, forcing contact, or lowering yourself into desperation. Embodiment is not about doing more. It is about being more. It is the conscious choice to live fully in your sovereignty, mission, and truth, regardless of his movement. Embodiment says, I am ready now. I am already whole. I am already union in myself. That vibration is the anchor the universe needs in order to weave the physical manifestation. Embodying action starts with the inner field. It is when the feminine chooses to release fear and live as though she is already aligned. She stops waiting for permission and begins showing up for her purpose. She writes the book, builds the project, serves the mission. She speaks the truth. Every step she takes toward her own authenticity sends a shockwave through the tether, calling the masculine higher. Her embodiment is not only for her, it creates the energetic blueprint he will eventually step into. Action also manifests through boundaries. The feminine who embodies does not leak energy into what drains her. She says no to cycles that dishonor her, whether with the masculine or anyone else. Each boundary strengthens her field, and that strength becomes the magnetic pull that shifts him. He feels the difference immediately. She no longer begs, she no longer pleads, she no longer waits. She stands rooted, and that rootedness awakens him. Embodying action may sometimes mean silence. Not the silence of resentment, but the silence of power. The feminine does not need to over-explain or convince. Her energy speaks louder than her words. Her frequency is her language. And through the tether, he hears it clearly. On the physical plane, embodiment can look simple, but it is profound. It is the choice to live in joy, even in waiting, to celebrate the mission, to cultivate beauty, creativity, and love in her own life. This is not moving on. It is moving deeper into herself. And ironically, it is this very act that collapses the final resistance in the masculine, because he cannot meet her until she shows him what sovereignty looks like. The universe has designed it so that her embodiment becomes the final trigger. His collapse prepared the opening, but her step anchors it. Her frequency stabilizes the field. Her choice tells the universe, we are ready. I am aligned. The portal can open now. This does not mean she forces the timing. It means she embodies readiness so completely that timing becomes irrelevant. Whether union arrives tomorrow, in weeks, or in months, she is already carrying it. And because she carries it, it must eventually manifest. Embodying action is not about waiting for him to do the work. It is about doing yours, not to carry him, but to stand beside him as an equal when the door opens. The feminine, who embodies, does not ask, "When will he move?" She declares, "I have moved, and now the universe will align him to meet me." This is how union anchors, not through words, not through longing, but through embodiment. The feminine steps fully into her light, and the masculine feels it. He cannot ignore it. He cannot unsee it, and eventually he cannot resist it. Your action is your embodiment, and your embodiment is the key. The twin flame journey is not endless waiting. It is not a story written only in the future. It is happening here, in this very moment. And the universe has made the message unmistakable. The divine masculine is done. His old patterns have collapsed. His illusions have crumbled. His resistance has reached its breaking point. But this collapse alone does not bring union. The next move is yours, divine feminine. Claiming the now means understanding that the portal is open, but it will not remain open forever. Energy shifts, recalibrates, moves on. If you delay, if you hesitate, if you continue waiting for him to prove what you already feel, the opportunity stretches further away. Destiny cannot be erased, but it can be delayed, and delay is suffering that serves no one. The masculine has done his part, not by perfecting himself, but by surrendering what no longer works. He has reached the end of his old cycle, and now the universe is holding its gaze on you. It is asking you to step into your embodiment, to claim the truth that has been pressing on your chest, to live as though union is already alive inside of you, because it is. Claiming the now does not mean rushing into desperation. It does not mean forcing communication or trying to control the outcome. It means anchoring into sovereignty so deeply that you become the vibration of union before it manifests physically. It means moving toward your mission with faith, creating from your gifts, living from your joy. Every step you take in this energy is a declaration. I am ready now. The tether ensures he feels it. The moment you claim yourself fully, the masculine is confronted with his own reflection. He cannot deny your frequency. He cannot escape the vibration. Your embodiment calls him forward more loudly than any words ever could. And in that moment, the union field stabilizes because you have claimed it. The danger is not that he won't arrive. He will. The danger is you waiting for a future that is already unfolding. Every time you tell yourself someday, you push away the truth that the universe is showing you now. Every time you postpone your embodiment, you postpone the union. And every time you shrink, you dim on the very light that was meant to lead both of you through the portal. The final stage is not about passivity. It is about presence. It is about showing up as the version of yourself who knows the truth. Union is not something you wait for. It is something you embody. The masculine is done. The next move is yours, so claim it. Claim the love, claim the mission, claim the sovereignty, claim the light. Not tomorrow, not when he confirms it, not when everything feels safe now. Because the now is where the universe moves. The now is where the portal opens. The now is where union anchors. The feminine who claims the now becomes unstoppable. She no longer asks, when will it happen? She declares, it is happening through me. And that declaration shifts everything. The divine masculine is done. The cycle is over, the energy is ready, and the universe is waiting for your choice. Claim it now, because the door is open and you were always the one meant to walk through it first.